Hey Latchkey kids and drive-in mutants, you're listening to KAB 1340 Antonio Bay Radio. I'm Lady Shasha, mistress of the snark, connoisseur of the gore, and hostess with the mostest. I just watched the 2021 film Antlers. This film opens up with a Native American warning. Something happens to a little boy's father in a mine. We aren't sure what it is just yet. The mystery has to unfold. Cut to a teacher lecturing about fables and mythology. She seems to have her own challenges that are alluded to in this movie. Despite her own issues, she does try to help a little boy named Lucas because she recognizes that something is going on with him. It turns out that was his father from the opening, and the little boy was his brother. This takes place in a small town in Oregon, which is in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. The location is important to the plot and features Native American folklore as part of the story. This has some pretty impressive practical effects and gore, but it was otherwise unremarkable for the most part. This isn't for everyone. It has a very, very slow build. I would actually call it sort of boring in the first half. This was set for release about 2 years ago, but the date got pushed back. Eventually, they did release it in theaters first. I don't think it was a good idea to have the initial release only in theaters. This should have been released on Shudder, Netflix, or HBO straight away. It's not something that needed to be seen on the big screen. The final creature, Rampage, was not rampagey enough. It was anticlimactic and only slightly less slow. For me, this was just too slow and the payoff wasn't worth it. I'm going to get into some spoilers at this point, so if you want to check the movie out and come back, at the time of this recording it was available on HBO Max and Amazon Prime Video. Now on to the spoilers. The explanation of the Wendigo as the creature felt rushed, like a non-native person decided to give the Cliff Notes version of the legend. The Wendigo is known to invoke feelings of insatiable greed or hunger, the desire to cannibalize other humans, as well as the propensity to commit murder in those that fall under its influence. Remember when I said that this taking place in the Pacific Northwest of the United States was important? Well, according to Algonquin legends, the Wendigo haunts the northern forests of the United States and Canada, always looking for people to eat. In most legends, humans transform into Wendigos because of their greed or weakness. Various indigenous traditions consider Wendigos dangerous because of their thirst for blood and their ability to infect otherwise healthy people or communities with evil. Wendigo legends are essentially cautionary tales about isolation and selfishness and the importance of community. Sometimes Wendigos are described as exceptionally thin, with the skull and skeleton pushing through its ash-colored mummy-like skin. Other stories describe the Wendigo as a well-fleshed giant who gets proportionally larger the more it eats. According to other legends, the Wendigo has pointed or animal-like ears with antlers or horns sprouting from its head. A Wendigo's eyes have been described as sunken or glowing like hot coals. They have sharp and pointy teeth. Extremely bad breath and body odor are also often traits of the Wendigo. Some legends say that it is 15 feet tall, has a long tongue, and has the power to regenerate. This was not effectively communicated in the movie at all. We are supposed to know about the father's greed within the first 2 minutes of the film, and that just doesn't work. It probably could have been conveyed in 10 to 12 minutes, but 2 minutes is cutting it too short. They included only one indigenous First Nations character, and he was only there to give exposition to the Euro-American people, and his exposition was shorter than what I just told you about the Wendigo. New rule: no more Wendigo movies without Native, Indigenous, First Nations involvement in the writing and film production. What a missed opportunity. Remember what I told you about the Wendigo's attributes, like regeneration? You think they used any of that? Nope. This had a good premise, but not only did it not stick the landing, it was boring. This could have worked as a half-an-hour episode of a horror anthology show, but they failed to have a story that justified a full-length movie. I do not recommend paying to see this, unless you're into super slow, low-key movies. For comparison, I would rather watch Shyamalan's Old again than sit through this a second time. Your mileage may vary, but like I always say, don't take my word for it, watch it for yourself. Just because I like something doesn't mean you won't hate it, and just because I hate something doesn't mean you won't like it. Have you seen Antlers? What did you think? Let me know in the comments. Until next time, this has been Lady Shasha for KAB 1340 Antonio Bay Radio, signing off.